Tigress here. So I'm going to attempt to make this video in my backyard, even though I don't have a lot of privacy. There are trains and all sorts of loud things that go by. Comment below if you also live in a neighborhood where you don't get a lot of privacy. It is so hard and it sucks because it is a beautiful day right now. So I'm going to talk about something kind of serious. I am outside because my kids are inside and it is a beautiful day, but it is kind of a private topic and I do want to have some alone time. So even though I don't have a lot of privacy outside, it still seems better than inside. So it has been a while since I've made a video and I'm sorry about that, but honestly this has taken me a while to process myself mentally and just get through it all, and I feel like I just wanted to make sure that I was mentally okay, that my body was okay, and just get through it all before I made a video about it so that I could be really clear in my thoughts. So 2 weeks ago I first started having brown spotting, and then that went into the next day, and the next day I had light bleeding, and then that went into the next day where I had cramping and a lot of bleeding. So of course I called my nurse as soon as it was like a bright pink and it was no longer brown. She asked if I wanted to come in and do a hormone test, but I decided to just stay home inside. I think I knew that it was a miscarriage, so I didn't want to go to the emergency room or anything like that. I kind of just wanted to let it ride out because I know that they can't do anything about it. The hormone test would just see if my levels were dropping. So I stayed home and I did lose the baby over the weekend, and I didn't see anything. It wasn't very graphic, but I just, I lost a lot of blood. The first day that I was cramping was intensely painful. I will say, because I was 9 weeks, it felt like I was doing a mini birth and I could feel my womb contracting. I think because I've given birth twice before, it was more apparent to me what that felt like, and that's what I told my husband. I was like, you basically just have to treat me like I just gave birth. So I went the whole weekend bedridden, just like laying in my bed and being served, and that was really, really nice to just be taken care of those couple days. And I just had the heating pad basically glued to me. Of course I would take breaks from it, but I definitely utilized the heating pad and it definitely helped a lot. I also drank a lot of raspberry leaf tea, and I do feel like that helped as well. It has been 2 weeks now and I am still lightly bleeding. No more cramping, but I will say it's pretty annoying to still be bleeding. Those few days it was painful and I was laying in bed and that was nice, but I did have some worries. I was really worried about having blood clots or having to go to the emergency room. There are lots of reasons why women have to go to emergency room when they're having a miscarriage, and it can be really scary. There's a lot of really scary possibilities. So after I got through that weekend and I went to see my doctor and I had an ultrasound, and they told me that the baby was totally gone and that my uterus looked really healthy and everything looked really good. It honestly was such a big relief, even though we are sad and I was sad about the loss. I actually was more relieved that nothing happened, that it wasn't too painful, that it wasn't too traumatic, and nothing caused the miscarriage either. They just happened. It was just a genetic mutation, and they are, it's a pretty high percentage that it will happen once. It's a pretty low percentage that they will happen back to back. So we are still trying for another one. I feel really hopeful. I don't feel like it's going to affect the next one. I will say these last couple weeks, though, I will be honest, that I definitely have gone back and forth with some sadness about, what we were looking forward to. I will say that we've been trying for a baby since May. It's now November. So I every month was thinking about having a baby, and then once I got pregnant, I was thinking about it literally constantly, like kind of obsessively every moment. It was all I can think about was my pregnancy and the baby. And so now that it's gone, it's been really hard to fill that hole and to think about other things. And it definitely is pushing me to be on social media way more frequently than I want to be. And so I started writing my memoir again, and that was good. And I wrote a lot for it, but it also brought up a lot of emotional trauma, like writing a memoir does. If you didn't know, now you know. Writing a memoir brings up tons of trauma. So I was like trying to heal my heart from this miscarriage while at the same time bringing up all this trauma from writing my memoir. So I put that down for a moment, and I'm now just really trying to focus on just taking it slow, being really gentle with myself, and knowing that how I'm feeling right now is really complex. It is not just like one thing, and it doesn't have to be, and doesn't have to make sense. No one has to understand. It's just like where I am right now, and just gotta take it day by day, like SZA says. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, I will say though, even though like for the most part I do feel like mentally I've processed it pretty well and it hasn't been too traumatic, but telling other people has been really hard, and that's been a different story. I feel like the people around me were a little bit more affected by it than I was, and I didn't realize, how much people would be counting on it, kind of, by virtue of looking forward to it so much. And I don't think that's anything anyone needs to feel bad about. It's very natural, we're excited about a baby, as we should be, and it is sad when we know that we're not going to necessarily meet that person or have those things come that we are imagining. But I was still surprised by how sad a lot of people were, like close family members, and I do feel bad. And part of me, it does make me see like why people wait to tell people about their pregnancy, but and I understand that there's ways to protect other people, but I also just feel like I know that if I get pregnant again, I'm still going to tell people early, and I'm still going to talk about it early, because that's just the type of person that I am. I'm just a sharer, and I know that there are ways that it's like not my job to protect other people, and people are going to react the way they do. And I also think the more we talk about it and the more open we are about it, the less shocking it can be, because the more people can be educated in it. And I think that's why it wasn't so shocking to me, because I grew up knowing and really connected to my cycle. I've always tracked my cycle. I grew up living with my sister who worked at a women's health specialist, so very much knowing, how likely miscarriages were and how much those sort of things happen. So I think partly why it wasn't traumatic for me was because I knew the likelihood, and I think if everybody understood that, it could be more okay. So I'm okay with continuing to talk about it and continuing to tell people. So I did start taking some herbs though. I am taking some Dong Quai herbs, and I will link those below, and those are really awesome. I did actually take this herb when I was trying to get pregnant with Zephyr, and all in all it just strengthens the uterus, so I think it will be good for going through my miscarriage as well. So I am glad to be taking this. I'm also still taking my prenatals. All in all, I do feel like my body has adjusted well, and I'm really proud of how well it is healed. You'd think that this happening would maybe make me feel weak or like I'm not capable of doing this, but it strangely made me feel stronger. What I got from this experience is that my body knows what it's doing. It's strong enough to let go of something that is not serving it. and it's a strong, capable body, and I feel like I am a boss at this. So I feel really confident that we will get pregnant again, and it will be a healthy pregnancy. Although we have to wait until I am done bleeding, so that's been annoying. But I do think we are talking about having this next baby in a hospital and not doing a home birth like we were planning, just to keep it more safe, because it is a little bit more apparent to us the things that could go wrong, and we did meet a doctor that we liked, so that's what we're thinking for this next one, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. It really means a lot. And if anyone else has gone through this experience, I hope you know that it's totally normal. We're gonna get through it together. There's now an airplane flying overhead, so this is a good spot to head out. Bye, one love.